Now, government says it will enforce a minimum 5% employment quota for persons with disabilities across both the public and private sectors. Speaking at the launch of the free tertiary education for persons with disabilities, President Mahama said private sector organizations that meet the quota will be given tax incentives. He further added that starting next year, government will increase the District Assembly's Common Fund allocation for persons with disabilities from 3 to 5%. Presidential Affairs correspondent Maxwell Agbagba has more in this report. At the Accra Teachers Training College, as President Mahama announced various interventions his government is rolling out to make life better for persons with disabilities. For many young people living with disabilities, the dream of attending a tertiary institution has often been overshadowed by financial hardship and limited support systems. But government says the story will be different now with the launch of the free tertiary for persons with disabilities policy. The Chief Executive Office of the Students' Loan Trust Fund, Sajida Shiraz, says the initiative is to ensure inclusivity in higher education through the provision of comprehensive fee support for tertiary students with disabilities. She says 142,440 first-year students have so far enrolled in public tertiary institutions under the No Fee Stress program.
On the 4th of July 2025 at the SDA College of Education in Koforidua, His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama launched the Umbrella No Fee Stress Policy, a bold and equity-driven intervention aimed at removing financial obstacles to accessing higher education in Ghana. On that day, he stated unequivocally that across this land, under his government, no Ghanaian child would be denied access to education simply because they cannot afford academic fees. Distinguished guests, since that day, we have facilitated academic fee reimbursements from the government of President John Dramani Mahama to 142,440 first-year students enrolled in public tertiary institutions. As part of these, ladies and gentlemen, validated first-year students with disabilities have received reimbursements not just for their academic fees, but for their full fees as promised. Esteemed stakeholders, we have taken learnings from the pilot implementation of the No Fee Stress initiative, and to maximize accessibility for persons with disabilities, students with disabilities are no longer required to submit applications to the Students' Loan Trust Fund. Instead, public tertiary institutions will provide a validated list of students with disabilities through the SLTF Tertiary Institutions portal, and their full fees will be disbursed directly to the institutions.
In his speech, President Mahama said government will enforce a minimum 5% employment quota for persons with disabilities across both the public and private sectors.
We would enforce a minimum 5% employment quota for persons with disability. $5% employment quota for persons with disability, and this will be across public and private sectors. Private sector organizations that meet the quota, they will be given tax incentives. And every public sector, through their ministers, will have to report annually that they have met the 5% quota.
He said that starting next year, government will increase the District Assembly's Common Fund allocation for persons with disabilities from 3% to 5%.
Next year, in the District Assembly's Common Fund formula, we intend to increase the allocation to persons with disability from 3% to 5%.
Heavy equipment supplier JA Plant Pool has dismissed accusations by the Attorney General that it was overpaid and involved in financial irregularities under the $178 million District Roads Improvement Program. The company insists the claims are factually inaccurate, misleading, and harmful to its reputation. There is more in the following report.
Speaking at the Government Accountability Series on Wednesday, the Attorney General, Dr. Dominic Ayeni, accused JA Plant Pool of over-invoicing, tax evasion, and receiving an excess payment of $2 million under the DRIP contract.
JA Plant Pool was overpaid by $2 million. The contract sum was 176 million United States of American dollars. On the face of the contract, that is the sum that was stated. When we examined the invoices of payments, it was 178 million that was paid. So right away, there was a difference of $2 million. So we asked that $2 million be paid back by JA Plant Pool.
In a statement issued on Friday, JA Plant Pool described the AG's claims as factually incorrect. On the first allegation of overpayment, the company explains that a contract signed on February 12, 2024, government agreed to purchase 240 units of earth-moving equipment at a total cost of $178.7 million. It attributes the $2 million difference to a clerical error in the Public Procurement Authority's approval letter, which it says was promptly reported for correction. Regarding the tax evasion claim, it clarifies that only 99 semi-knockdown components, mainly low-bed trailers and service equipment, were imported under bonded warehouse arrangements, eliminating any basis for tax evasion. On the allegation of over-invoicing, JA Plant Pool maintains that all contract prices reflect competitive market values and were vetted by all relevant authorities. For Sinasafo, for JoyNews.
Well, the educational and academic credentials of the Director General of the Ghana Tertiary Education Commission, GTEC, Professor Ahmed Jinapor Abdullahi, has come under scrutiny following a petition by a concerned citizen questioning the basis of his professorial status. We have more in this report.
Director General of the Ghana Tertiary Education Commission, GTEC, Professor Ahmed Jinapor, who has recently gained public attention for cracking down on the misuse of academic titles, is now facing scrutiny over his own credentials. Among those previously directed by GTEC to cease using such titles are Deputy Health Minister Dr. Ayinsu, CEO of the Chamber of Mines Kenneth Ashigbe, Rashid Tanko Computer NDC Central Regional Chairman Richard Kofi Esiedu, and WA Municipal Hospital's Medical Superintendent Bukari Zakari. Just days ago, GTEC also released a list of 50 local and foreign tertiary institutions it described as unaccredited, sparking public debate over what many have called Professor Jinapor's fixation with academic legitimacy. Now he finds himself under the same microscope. In a letter dated October 24, 2025, addressed to the chairman of the GTEC Governing Board, petitioner Kwame Simpe Ofori requested full details of Professor Jinapor's academic qualifications, including his terminal degree, awarding institutions, and the publications that supported his promotions to associate and later full professor. The petition cites searches on academic databases, including Google Scholar, Scopus, and ResearchGate, which reportedly found no record of peer-reviewed publications under his name. The petitioner argues that such verification is vital to ensure credibility and transparency within Ghana's tertiary education system. The letter copied to the Minister for Education, the Public Services Commission, and the Vice-Chancellor of the University of Education, Winneba, UEW, where Professor Jinapor previously lectured, also seeks clarification on whether his promotion to professor occurred at the University of Education in Winneba or after his appointment to GTEC. The request, filed under the Right to Information Act, is described as being in the public interest. Now,
quote, everything we received from the government is gone. The security has taken everything, unquote. Those were the words of the Human Resource Manager of the Sola Tuna Kalba District Assembly, Abdullahi Mahama, lamenting the Assembly's inability to execute key development projects due to depleted funds. Representing the District Chief Executive at the commissioning of a 3-unit classroom block constructed with support from JoyNews 2025 Impact Maker awardee, Abdullahi Mahama, revealed that the recent ethnic conflict between the Gunjas and the Brifos has drained the Assembly's resources as it works to maintain peace in the area. He appealed to residents to embrace unity for the development of the district. JoyNews' Upper West Regional Correspondent Rafiq Salam reports from Domanguru.
Responding to concerns raised by the chief of Damanguru over the lack of teachers' quarters, which is a disincentive for teachers accepting postings to the Damanguru Enclave, Human Resource Manager of the Solotuna Kalaba District Assembly, Abdullahi Mahama, disclosed that the Assembly carried out a plan to construct teachers' quarters in some outlandish communities in the district. The plan, however, is now kept on hiatus. Funds earmarked for the project and other equally important development projects have now been diverted for the maintenance of peace in the district.
The unfortunate conflict came in and permit me to say that everything we receive from the government is gone. The security has taken everything. We know how expensive it is to cater for security. Their accommodation, their feeding, their fuel.
He urged the people to give peace a chance to pave way for the speedy development of the district.
Let us embrace peace. If you disturb peace, you will go a lot of miles backwards in your development. So let's resort to the use of dialogue in solving our problems instead of going the way we are going.
There was, however, excitement and joy following the commissioning of a 3-unit classroom block for the school. Hitherto, classes and the pupils were lumped together, making it difficult for conducive teaching and learning. Head teacher of Damanguru DA Primary School, Posia Dumba, with support from Poduke Tat Life and Sisters Keepers, they reconstructed a makeshift structure that had virtually collapsed and furnished it with 60 dual decks.
Today, this new classroom is more than just a building. It's a symbol of hope and opportunity. The joy, excitement on the faces of the children are overwhelming. They can now learn in a friendly, safe environment, one that inspires play, creativity, and learning. Their enthusiasm reminds us that education is not just about books and lessons, but also about creating a happy, inclusive space for dreams to grow.
A few months ago when we were here, this place was a makeshift structure. I could even, at that particular time, have described it as like a forgotten pen for animals. But today, thanks to Posia Dumba, she has been able to raise some amount of money, got some partners, and they have been able to put this structure in the best of shape. And so today, the people of Damanguru are really rejoicing about what they have seen in their life, which will aid in their education. Reporting for JoyNews, Rafiq Salam, Damanguru.
To Parliament now, where the minority in the House are demanding an urgent parliamentary national security briefing on certain security issues in the country. Minority spokesperson on Defense and Interior, John Ntimfojo, highlighted the Benyiri conflict, chieftaincy conflict in Sampa, as the anchor for their request.
The conflict that took place in Benyiri, which resulted in estimated 10,000 refugees to Burkina Faso and another estimated 13,000 refugees to Ivory Coast and 48,000 displaced residents within the Sola Kalbatuna districts and the Boli Bamboy districts. Also, another very worrying development in Sampa, which resulted in killings of very dear residents within that area. It is important that as a matter of urgency, within next week, the Minister for Interior and the Minister now responsible for Defense must appear before this House to give us updates. Lives are more important, security are more important than everything else that we demand accountability on. And it will be highly irresponsible on our part as a House if we do not demonstrate that interest in these killings that took place, and even so concerned as to the state of our compatriots who have become refugees in other places.
Our Deputy Minority Whip Jerry Ahmed Shaib wants Health Minister to be hauled before Parliament over NHIS cash and carry and quote-unquote expensive charges for caesarean delivery at public hospitals.
Mr. Speaker, as we speak today, the NHIS for close to about 2 months is not working. It's not. NHIS, people would have to pay before they are provided services. As we speak, the LIMS is also not working, it's deactivated. And so we virtually reverted to the cash and carry system. Yes, it's not politics. When we are here to check. So if you want to do politics as usual, it's not going to help. And then the final one, Mr. Speaker, still for pregnant women, as we speak, any woman who is pregnant and wants to go through the CS, the cesarean surgery, would have to pay between 5,000 to 9,000. So we need to bring this to the notice of the leader of government business so that all of this will be resolved. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
With less than 100 days to the new Patriotic Party's presidential primaries, the party's leadership has issued a set of directives aimed at regulating campaign activities and maintaining internal cohesion. The guidelines, according to the leadership, are designed to safeguard party unity and ensure a fair, disciplined contest ahead of the polls. Here are excerpts from the newly issued directives.
In a move aimed at ensuring order, transparency and fair play in the internal campaign process, the party's National Secretariat has issued a set of directives governing the conduct of presidential aspirants and their supporters ahead of the upcoming primaries. According to the directive, all presidential aspirants are required to formally notify their respective regional party offices of their campaign itinerary or movement schedule before commencing activities within a region. This, the party says, is to allow for effective coordination and avoid potential overlaps or disruptions during campaign tours. Furthermore, each regional party is to designate one regional officer to accompany the presidential aspirant throughout the tour. The designated officer will be responsible for observing, documenting, and submitting a comprehensive report to the National Secretariat upon completion of the tour for administrative review and record keeping. The statement also includes a clear warning to party-appointed communicators who have been strictly barred from using party-sponsored media platforms to campaign either for or against any presidential aspirant. Any communicator found violating this directive will face immediate suspension from representing the party in the media, in addition to any disciplinary actions outlined in the party's constitution and regulations.
The International Labour Organization, ILO, is warning of dire consequences for Ghana's economy if the country fails to curb illegal mining and the growing involvement of children in the activity. Speaking at the launch of the Green Jobs Fair in Accra, team lead for the project, Lloyd Ngo, stressed the need for decisive action, noting that illegal mining continues to pose serious environmental and social threats, especially to young people drawn into the activity due to lack of employment opportunities. We have more in this report.
The International Labour Organization is warning that Ghana's economy could face serious setbacks if the government does not urgently address the illegal mining menace. This follows new reports highlighting child involvement in galamsey operations and rising unemployment figures among the youth. Speaking at a stakeholder meeting in Accra, team lead for the Green Jobs Project, Lloyd Ngo, says the situation could worsen unless young people are supported with sustainable and legal livelihood alternatives alternatives.
It affects all of us. The chemicals that are putting in the water bodies, it gets into the plants, we all consume them. So it's not only the Galamsey themselves, they are putting everyone at risk. So that is a flag. I think that goes back to the Ministry of Labor maybe to follow up on the illegal mining and those who are using young people underage to work in those illegal mines. Yeah, so there are frameworks within the ILO internationally agreed for children, underage children working in the mines.
The Green Jobs Project, jointly funded by the European Union and implemented by Ghana's Ministry of Employment and Labour Relations, aims to create decent and environmentally sustainable jobs across key sectors. Employment and Labour Relations Minister Rashid Pelpo says government is taking steps to transition persons involved in illegal mining into more productive and sustainable fields.
We have set up situations for them to be employed, creating avenues for them, giving some of them power, money and job abilities to go into their own businesses, entrepreneurship training, issues that will help them to be able to function as individuals away from the mining.
The minister further indicated that broader labor reforms are underway to tackle the country's high unemployment rate, especially among the youth.
The government of Ghana has taken deliberate steps to promote this agenda through policy frameworks such as the National Green Job Strategy 2021, which is being reviewed in 2026 to 2029, the National Determined Contributions under the UNFCCC, the National Employment Policy, the various initiatives under the Ghana Green and Circular Economy programs.
Authorities remain optimistic that the initiative will open new opportunities and accelerate Ghana's transition towards a greener and more resilient economy. Stephen Mensah's report for JoyNews.
Now, with the increasing trend of young people sharing indecent and suggestive content on social media in pursuit of popularity and online clout, the Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Protection is issuing a strong caution. Gender Minister says the behavior is dangerous, urging the youth to be more deliberate and responsible with what they share online. My colleague Emmanuel Koji has more in the following report.
Recent developments are once again drawing attention to the unchecked use of social media. Increasingly, young people are posting indecent and unfiltered content online in a bid to attract views, like, and digital attention. Gender Minister Namu Mulati is urging the youth to be more responsible, warning that such behavior can damage personal reputation and pose a lasting risk to their future.
To our youth gathered here, remember, the internet never forgets. What you post today will shape how future employers, schools, or partners perceive you. Let your digital footprints reflect your values, your aspirations, and your integrity.
She further stressed that child protection is a collective responsibility and referenced the late former First Lady Nana Akufo-Addo Agyeman-Rawlings as a pioneer advocate for girls' rights and women empowerment.
Observing a minute silence for an icon, a mother who passed on to eternity yesterday. She was very pivotal in promoting child's education, inclusivity, girls' education, women's empowerment, child protection and education. Her life was that of impact, and it will remain with us forever.
The Deputy Director General of the Cybersecurity Authority, Stephen Kujo-Sechi, also emphasized the need to prioritize child online safety, noting that children must be equipped with the skills and guidance to navigate the digital space responsibly and securely.
Our our children are, without question, among the most active citizens of the internet. They spend an increasing and indispensable part of their lives online. This new environment leaves them highly susceptible to damaging threats. They face risks like cyberbullying and other forms of online exploitation that can undermine their safety, privacy, and their basic human rights in the digital space. It is therefore critical that we equip them with both the technical know-how and the ethical compass to navigate online spaces safely and responsibly.
The call is for all of us to play our part in keeping our digital spaces and our nation safe. For JoyNews, Emmanuel Kuji's report read to you.
You're also watching JoyNews Room on the JoyNews channel. We have more to come right after this break. Welcome back from the break. Now, the Conference of Directors of Education has paid glowing tribute to the late former First Lady, Nana Konadu Agyeman-Rawlings, describing her as a trailblazer who championed women's emancipation and empowerment in Ghana. Nana Konadu passed away on Thursday at the Ridge Hospital here in Accra. Speaking at the Education Directors Conference in Siain, the outgoing president of the conference, Benny Sofori, praised Mrs. Rawlings for her pioneering effort in advancing women's leadership and political participation across the country. Precious Semevo reports.
The 32nd annual conference of the Conference of Directors of Education in Sunyani brought together regional and district directors of education to deliberate on issues affecting management of pre-tertiary education and reset attitudes towards positive discipline. A 15-point communique issued after the 5-day conference identified challenges, particularly in the area of discipline, and proposed actionable recommendations aimed at improving the quality of education delivery in line with GES strategic objectives. Ibrahim Mumuni, the immediate past secretary and elected president of the conference, presented the communique.
The Ministry of Education and the Ghana Education Service should integrate moral and character education into all subjects and encourage school activities that promote patriotism, respect, and responsibility. Teachers and school leaders should receive regular training on positive discipline, emotional intelligence, and restorative practices to replace punitive disciplinary measures. GES should establish an annual award scheme to recognize schools and students who exhibit exemplary discipline and integrity.
The immediate past president of the conference, Benny Sofori, eulogized the late former First Lady, Nana Konadu Agyeman-Rawlings, who passed away on 24th October 2025, describing her as a strong leader. Ahead of a minute's silence in her remembrance, Mrs. Sofori said Mrs. Rawlings was instrumental in policies that empowered Ghanaian women.
We all know how strongly this First Lady fought for the emancipation of women and the empowerment of women in Ghana. One of the major achievements which has gone into history is her support in the promulgation of the interstate succession law for Ghana and for our women. We knew the work she did to bring women into the front core of politics and leadership in Ghana, empowering not only the illiterate but as well as the illiterate, which has made women to be recognized in Ghana in leadership positions.
Precious Semevo, JoyNews, Sunyani.
Now, the Commander Edna Egwafo Ebrin, Municipal Secretary of the Ghana National Association of Teachers, NAT, Julius Bodo, has made a passionate appeal to government to address the poor accommodation conditions of teachers, particularly those posted to deprived communities. Speaking during activities to mark World Teachers' Day in the municipality, Mr. Bodo described the situation as a long-standing challenge that continues to affect teachers' comfort, morale, and productivity. He urged the government and the relevant stakeholders to prioritize the provision of decent housing facilities to ensure that teachers remain motivated to give their best in shaping the nation's future.
All around the globe, World Teachers' Day was celebrated to recognize the incredible contributions of teachers in building generations of impact makers. In the KEA municipality, the municipal branch of the Ghana National Association of Teachers, NAT, held series of activities to mark the occasion. The municipal NAT chairman, Henry Amate, outlines the details of the celebration.
World Teachers' Day is a day set aside to celebrate teachers in the whole world. So we as teachers in KEA, we organized a float this morning. Then we've met here as teachers to organize fun games, to exercise our body, to socialize and make friends. There are so many allegations of teacher-student relationships. So in our meeting with teachers, we advise them that they shouldn't engage in such illegal activities. There's no way a teacher should have sex or anything of that sort with students because they are under our care. It's something that our code of conduct frowns against it. Any teacher that engages in such act would be sentenced to prison. So when we even went to the prisons, we advised that when we, whatever observation we made there, when we come out, we should advise our colleagues who sometimes engage in those activities to put a stop to it.
Representing the Municipal Education Director, the Deputy Director of Finance and Administration at GES in the municipality, Ebenezer Buete, highlighted a theme for the day.
The celebration is under the theme, Empowering Teachers for a Resilient Educational System. Today we acknowledge and celebrate tireless efforts, sacrifices and dedication of our teachers who continue to inspire hope and shape destinies despite the many challenges in the profession. Teachers remain the backbone of our educational progress and guiding light for our learners. On behalf of management, I express my heartfelt appreciation to every teacher for your commitment to nurturing excellence and building a better future for our nation.
Though the day celebrated the efforts of teachers, some of their challenges were also brought to light. Julius Podo is the municipal NAT secretary.
As teachers, government upon government, they try solving teachers' problem, but when it comes to teacher accommodation, it's not the best. Most of our teachers are particularly those who are in the villages or the deprived areas. When you go to where they live, at times it's an eyesore. But that is the community they find themselves. So we are pleading with government still. It's something that has been on their table, that they should come on board, particularly those are the deprived area. They should try and give them this small 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom structure, not for the teacher per se, for the community. So when the teacher comes, the teacher can live. Another issue that we are having, which is very serious, is about the same deprived teachers. It has been on the table for so long a time that they will be giving them a special allowance. We are expecting that allowance. We are expecting it. And then I just want to chip in this. This time, we don't want promise and fail. We want action.
From Ayen Sudo in the KEA municipality, Abigail Lisol Nkrumah reports for JoyNews.
Let's take you to Ivory Coast now, where the country is electing a new president today, with the current president Alassane Ouattara seeking a 4th term as president. He's being contested fiercely by Simon Gbagbo, who is the wife of former president of the Ivory Coast, Laurent Gbagbo. Also is Jean-Louis Bellion, who resigned recently as Minister of Trade and becoming the candidate for the Democratic Congress, a new coalition of 18 parties and political movement. We also have Ahwa Don Mello in there, Henriette Lagu Ajua also there. Let me join, a reporter for Radio France and a former colleague here, JoyNews, Justice Bedu, who is covering the elections in Abidjan. Justice, what can you tell us is what's happening there where you are currently? Justice, can you unmute so we can hear what you're telling us? Good.
It's been largely calm all over the country, most parts of the country, especially in Abidjan, where I am. I'm currently in front of School Sainte-Marie in the neighborhood of Cocody. This is where President Alassane Ouattara is expected to be voting any moment from now. A lot of journalists are pitching camp here at the moment, waiting for what is expected to be his arrival. It's been a topsy-turvy process coming up to today. Only yesterday, around 200 people who had been arrested in the weeks before today for taking part in protests against President Ouattara's bid to contest in this election were sentenced to 3 years imprisonment. And so there seemed to be a lot of tension. Many people are scared, especially people who are from the opposition parties whose candidates have been disqualified from taking part in this election. Former President Laurent Gbagbo, who has been disqualified because he had a jail term sentence in 2018. Former Credit Suisse boss Tijani Kiami, who was seen as the most potent contender to be able to stand in the way of President Ouattara's fourth-term bid, also disqualified on the basis that he had taken a French nationality in 1987. And so it's pretty much a one-sided event here, and so there isn't much to fight over. The process has been really smooth and nothing much to report on.
So in terms, if you put the earlier incidents you spoke about aside, what has also been the topical issues prior to today in terms of what the voters are considering to be the deciding factor in this election?
Many people are concerned about peace, especially after Saturday, because this is a country that has seen so much strife, so much bloodshed. In 2010, when they last had a major competitive election, nearly 3,000 people were killed in 3 months of a civil war. Several hundreds of thousands were forced to leave the country, and it hasn't seen any sustained peace until today. And so there are many people who are just concerned. A lot of people that I have spoken to, they just want this weekend to pass peacefully so that they could continue with their lives. A lot of people don't seem really happy about the decision to have what is almost certainly a one-way affair in terms of the election. However, I get a sense that people just want to move on with their lives and move on. Other people are also just concerned about the economy. This country, despite all of its troubles, is one of the fastest growing economies in the West African sub-region on the back of soaring cocoa prices on the world market. Now its country, the government has also invested heavily in other sectors like gold, which is also receiving huge prices on the world market. And so the country is doing really well, despite high levels of inequality on other parts of the country. So yes, mixed feelings, different people with different objectives, but largely turn up at polling stations really, really low, as several people would rather opt out than come up and then get caught up in with police and other security forces who are standing by to enforce the strict enforcement of a ban on protests. Several places under curfew. The major capital, Yamoussoukro, is under a dawn-to-dusk curfew, for example. So yes, that's a mix of several things here.
When do we expect the polls to close, and has there been any estimation of when the results will be declared?
Polls are expected to close at 6 p.m. and counting begins almost immediately. It is expected that within 5 days, there should be a winner of this election should be known. Seeing as the competition is really low, it's pretty much straightforward. Many analysts expect President Ouattara to cruise to a landslide victory, and that should be known in about 5 days from now.
Grateful to you, but take care of yourself. Yeah, be safe out there. Justice Bedu is an international reporter with the Radio France there. But let's bring in the programs manager with CDD, because they are there as international observers of this particular process. Vera Abena-Addo. Vera, I'm grateful to you for joining us here. What would you say is your own observation of the processes so far in Ivory Coast?
Okay, so I am currently in Boaké, and the process so far has been calm and peaceful. Early in the morning, we had some few polling stations that had more people in the queue waiting. And so I think generally, based on what we've seen, we anticipated there will be low voter turnout, because we also realized that collection of their voter ID cards were very low. A lot of people had not gone for their voter ID card. But again, EC said that's not the only form of identification. So we're expecting that if you went to the polling station, you'll be able to, with any other ID card, we could also still collect your ID card. So we haven't had any issue, at least for Boaké. Everything has gone on smoothly. We've seen the presence of the security as well, and some international and local observers on the ground. So far, I think the process has been quite peaceful.
In terms of the election management body, what have they been saying so far?
So far, we had a meeting with them. They told us they met specifically observers, both the international and local observers, that they wanted us to observe and report exactly what we see, and based on our reports will help them to reform the process. And so they expect us to act in with the conduct that they've given us. So we were all given the observers code and the electoral code that we could look at the processes. And so accreditations were given all of us, all international observers who applied, local observers who applied had received their accreditation. We did not hear of any observer group that did not receive accreditation from them. So I think that EC has shown some level of, our observers also, most of our observers have been able to observe at the various polling stations. We've not had any issue where observer is denied to observe at the polling station. So far I think that we've had some kind of response from the EC, allowing all observers to be at the various polling stations.
Vera, I'm grateful to you for joining us on the newsroom. Vera Abena-Addo is Programs Director with CDD. Now, the 1/8 stage for the National Science and Maths Quiz begins on Sunday with reigning champions of Fantipem School looking to defend their title and chase a 4th national trophy, while heavyweights, including Presec Legon, Opokuwari School, Achimota School, St. James Seminary, and other seeded schools get set to challenge for a quarter-final slot. My colleague Jacqueline and Suma Yeboah has more in the following report.
This year's national championship began with 147 schools in the preliminaries, battling for survival across multiple centers. After days of buzzer breaks, shock eliminations, and dramatic comebacks, the number has now been cut down to 81, including seeded schools now advancing to the 1A stage. Among them are the reigning champions in Fantipem School, who are not just defending a title, but chasing what could become their 4th national trophy.
Everyone should be expecting our best, that we will hope that by the grace of God, we will be able to defend this trophy, and then also be able to make everyone who is looking up to us proud.
They should expect a lot from us, because we have prepared a lot, and then we will make the defense easy.
They might not have it easy because 8-time champions, Presec Legon, 2-time winners, Opokuwari and Achimota School, regional champions, St. James Seminary, and the long list of seeded contenders are all determined to stop Infantipem's run and reclaim the trophy for themselves.
We are trusting God that this year we'll make history once again.
Honestly, I don't think there's anything different. It's the same Presec with God coming here. Probably we've worked on our mistakes. That's I'll say that's the main difference. We've worked on our mistakes from last year, so hopefully this year we'll do better.
I know that by the grace of God we'll be able to win this trophy.
We shouldn't expect our strength to do everything, but the grace of God and the favor of God which is covering us and leading us to lead us to the trophy.
Absolutely nothing but the best, because we've come here to win every contest that we partake in.
This year we are coming back a lot better, a lot stronger, and we are hoping that when everything is said and done, when the dust is settled, we are able to emerge victorious.
The mood ahead of Sunday is charged. Seeded schools, comeback schools, revenge schools, all 81 teams walking in the 1A stage with one question hovering over everyone. Who survives the quarterfinals and who bows out now? For JoyNews, I'm Jacqueline Ansama.
The government says it is committed to making home ownership more accessible to Ghanaians through targeted policies and partnerships with the private sector. Deputy Minister for Works and Housing, Honorable Gisela Tete Agbotui, made a remark at the launch of the 2025 EcoBank JoyNews Habitat Fair, urging stakeholders to support efforts aimed at bridging Ghana's housing deficit.
At the launch of the 2025 EcoBank JoyNews Habitat Fair, Deputy Minister for Works and Housing Gisela Tete Agbotui noted that Ghana's housing deficit, currently estimated at 1.8 million units, continues to pose a challenge as urbanization rises at an annual rate of over 3%. She, however, reiterated government's dedication to ensuring affordable and sustainable housing for all Ghanaians.
In Ghana, with an urban population now exceeding 59% and an annual urbanization rate of 3.3%, the demand for decent housing continues to rise. The 2021 population and housing census places our housing deficit at 1.8 million units. We are implementing policies and programs that will make home ownership more accessible to ordinary Ghanaians. And the goal is clear: to create a vibrant, inclusive and sustainable housing market that provides opportunities for every Ghanaian to dream it, to own it and live it.
Head of Marketing and Brands at EcoBank Ghana, Reginald Fori, highlighted the bank's commitment to supporting home ownership through affordable mortgage solutions.
At EcoBank, we believe that a house becomes a home when it is filled with comfort, warmth, security, and we are here to help you achieve exactly that. If you are planning to buy or build your home, EcoBank offers flexible and affordable mortgage financing of up to 20 years, making home ownership simpler and more accessible. For our Ghanaian professionals living abroad, EcoBank Diaspora Mortgage is specifically designed to help you build or buy a home right here in Ghana while you work outside, with repayments and a tenure up to 10 years.
General Manager of JoyNews Brands, Fifi Kumsen, emphasized the power of partnerships in making home ownership a reality for Ghanaians. He noted that beyond bricks and mortar, building a home represents vision, commitment, and the joy of creating spaces where families can thrive.
Building or owning a home is not just about bricks and mortar. It is about vision, commitment, and the joy of creating spaces where our families can thrive. With the right partnerships, the right planning, and the right financial tools, we can indeed dream it, own it, and live it.
Chief Executive of JL Properties, Dr. James Olins-Lindsay, advised prospective homeowners to prioritize due diligence before purchasing a land.
The main thing you do is to take what we call a barcoded site plan. Not just a site plan, but a barcoded site plan to the Lands Commission and do a search on it. You get a professional architect. Many times I've heard stories of people saying, oh, the architect is too expensive, and so can't you get somebody just to draw for me? If you want it to be cheap, well, you would get you would be paying more at the end of the day.
Now, the Labone Student Association, LOSA, has organized a health walk for both old and current students of Labone Senior High School, emphasizing the importance of keeping fit and staying healthy. The event, dubbed Walking Together, Supporting Tomorrow, aims to encourage regular physical activity and promote a healthy lifestyle among participants. We have more in this report.
The health walk covered an approximate distance of 8.7 kilometers, starting from the Labone Senior High School campus and passing through various municipal streets of Accra. This initiative, according to LOSA President Listo Olagbeli, reflects LOSA's dedication to promoting health and wellness, as well as fostering connections among alumni and current students.
So this walk is one of our flagship events that is aimed to bring us together as a family. When we come together, we keep fit. As you can see, we've done a 10-kilometer walk this morning, and the aerobics is ongoing. And then after that, we try and then socialize and exchange some business opportunities and share some ideas. So that's what all this is about.
On her part, LOSA General Council Vice Chair Millicent J urged all students to support the school's development, highlighting the association's commitment to enhancing the institution's infrastructure and academic performance.
And our next event will be a speech day for the students who have completed. We want to award them. We have the National Maths and Science Quiz to come in on very soon, and then our students are involved, and we are doing a lot for them, for the school. You know, purposely, this thing is for the school, for our school, our alma mater. We come together and see what we need to do for the school.
The walk was under the theme, Working Together, Supporting Tomorrow.
And that's how we wrap up Joy Newsroom for you. There's more news on myjoyonline.com. My name is Samuel Kojo Brace. Have a pleasant afternoon.